Hi, my name is Max, and today I will talk about the new specified software release and its web accessibility redesign. I will cover the importance of accessibility and usability, showcase the new features coming to Specify 7.7, and in the process try to inspire developers to create software that is useful and hopefully not frustrating. So why is accessibility important? Accessibility is important because it enables web apps to work for persons with disabilities, but also it just provides a better experience for everyone, in addition to helping software meet international standards. For example, the next Specify 7 release would be largely compliant with the main web accessibility standard. And we also added screen reader support. This enables Specify 7 to be used in government institutions and other places that are legally obliged to use accessible software only. Additionally, accessible software adapts to the user's needs and preferences. To that end, Specify 7 now listens to user preferences for date formats, interface theme, font size, and language. As an example, if I change the theme to dark in my operating system settings, Specify 7 instantly reacts to the change and adapts accordingly. We also added a user preferences menu to Specify 7, where additional options can be fine-tuned. Users have an option to completely disable animations across the entire application or reduce the transparency. Then interface colors can be adjusted and gestures configured. This update also leverages browser APIs and tools to provide many user interface components. This means that the browser is the one responsible for making sure interactive elements are compatible with screen readers, have excellent keyboard support and touchscreen support, as well as work nice under the user's chosen theme, which provides a much better user experience for users while also removing responsibility for all those things from the developers. Next, we wanted to make the interface look friendlier, so we redesigned all the pages with that in mind. For example, buttons are larger to make them easier to look at, many components have rounded corners, and colors are used generously throughout the interface to focus attention and add contrast. Many of these things are possible thanks to the modern styling library we are using, which is called Tailwind CSS. It also makes interface adapt better to varying screen sizes, and in the future we could use it to improve the mobile support, as data entry on the go could be useful. Another side effect of using the styling library is the consistency it promotes throughout the interface. So besides making the app look more professional, reusing the same design helps users learn different components of the app quicker. That's it for the main accessibility improvements, and now I'm happy to present new tools that are landing in the next release. First of all, we added a Schema configurator tool. The specified data model is highly customizable and adaptable thanks to the Schema configurator, as it allows your institution to change the captions on fields, add additional fields to forms so as to cover your unique needs, or constrain values for fields to ensure data quality. So the screenshot on the right shows an example of the collection object table. The first column allows configuring table description, formatting, and aggregation settings. Then the second column lists all the fields and relationships for that table, and the last column is where you edit a given field. Besides customizing captions like I mentioned, you can also add usage nodes, make a field required, add a formatter, or constrain the input values. Additionally, each Specify 7 instance now comes with a schema inspector that allows you to browse the relationships between database tables and export the data model in different formats. Next, the new release would have an updated tree viewer, which besides the refined design now has an improved search capability and important accessibility improvements. Now, it's worth briefly mentioning the Specify WorkBench, which is our bulk data import solution. You can just throw a spreadsheet of data at it, and it will automatically try to map your spreadsheet columns to database fields, and then validate the data and make a record set of all the created records. This release packs some front-end performance improvements to the Workbench to allow working with even larger datasets. We recently successfully imported a dataset consisting of 3 million cells on a quite average machine, and more powerful servers and workstations would allow around 8 million cells in a single import. Then there is a query builder. Exporting data from a specified database is one of the most important use cases, and to that end we redesigned the query builder to the highest quality standard. This is now a feature-complete implementation with nice additions like the mapping editor at the top, which allows you to quickly add fields to the query from a variety of tables. Next, we added full pick list support and ability to run OR queries. For example, these filters return all collection objects whose catalog numbers are in this range or in this range. Lastly, but not least, you can create record sets from a subset of query results or do a quick preview of a particular record, even without leaving the query builder. Besides the query builder, the most used component of Specify 7 is the data entry screen. New release brings several updates like a redesigned validation system for quicker feedback and improved record set capabilities to match and exceed the features offered by Specify 6. Forms also have been made to be more stretchy and flexible to fit varying screen sizes. Then it's worth briefly mentioning the attachment viewer, which besides the refreshed interface, added an ability to view and edit attachment metadata. And now for the most exciting part. Based on community feedback, we know that single sign-on and permission systems are highly requested features, and I'm happy to say that we have them both coming in this release. First, let's talk about authentication. We surveyed the users and collection managers to help shape the new features throughout the development process. New release of Specify 7 supports single sign-on, which means you can use your campus or institutional identity providers to authenticate into Specify 7. For system administrators, this means that security improvements and greater centralization is now available, whereas for end users, it will lead to greater convenience and fewer passwords to remember. Specify 7 now supports all identity providers that have an OpenID endpoint. And finally, the most exciting part of this release is the role-based permission system. We added a permission panel, which is now the central place for all security settings. The permission system consists of roles and policies, and each role is like a collection of policies that give everyone who is part of that role some level of access. For example, here I have a role called Determiner, which gives users access to modifying the determination records, as well as adding and pseudonymizing taxa. Then, when I open the permission screen for an individual user, I can see at a glance which roles they are given. Each user may have one or multiple roles, and the same user may have different roles in different collections. Additionally, you can give some policies directly to a user without having to create a role. And finally, there is a preview of all the permissions that a user would end up having, which combines the permissions user receives from all the roles and policies they have. Then you can click on any of these checkboxes to see why this user does or does not have a specific permission. This role-based permission system is more flexible, advanced, and customizable than the one in Specify 6 and goes a long way towards making Specify 7 a powerful collection management system. And to summarize, this presentation covered the importance of accessibility and usability improvements by showcasing the new user preferences menu and user interface redesign coming in the next Specify 7 release, as well as gave you a glimpse of new and exciting features like Schema editor for customizing the data model to your institution's preferences, enhanced tree viewer and form capabilities, added advanced features to the query builder, and finally, this update also introduced two new major components, which are the single sign-on system and the role-based permission system. That's all I have, and I hope you have a wonderful meeting.